Today we're going to learn how to create this waffle stitch crochet blanket. This is a super simple 2-row pattern repeat. So let me tell you the materials that we'll be using for this tutorial. I am using a 6mm crochet hook, and I'm also using Red Heart Super Saver yarn in the color Frosty Green. I will leave the yardage of the yarn that you'll need for each size of your blanket down below. And if you would like to follow along to the free written pattern, that'll be linked down in the description box below also. And if you do not want to make a blanket, this is just a simple pattern done in multiples of 3 plus 1. So if you want to make a scarf, if you want to make a dishcloth, you can do that. I'll write above a couple times, up above, what are some multiples of 3? And you just add 1 to get the pattern that you're looking for. All right, enough of me talking. Let's hop directly into this tutorial. We're going to begin with a loose chain. For a baby blanket, you're going to chain 97. For a lap blanket, 118. And for a throw blanket, you're going to chain 160. So pause your video here, and once you get those chains, you can meet me back here. But if you already have them, let's start with the very first row. For this, I prefer to work into the back bumps because it's just going to be easier when it's time to work your border. So here's the front. If I turn it this way, you see these little back bumps. That's what I'm going to be working into. We're going to work into the second chain from the hook. So here is 1, 2. If I turn this way, you can see the bump or the second bump. Here's bump 1 and here's bump 2. We're going to place a double crochet. All right, now we're just going to double crochet in each one of these back bumps all the way across. So you can pause your video here and I'll meet you at the other side. We've made it to the end of row number 1. So now we're going to chain 1. This chain 1 does not count as a stitch. We're going to place a double crochet into the very first stitch right here. Now we're going to front post double crochet into the next stitch. To do that, we're going to yarn over, go behind that post, push it forward, and complete your double crochet as normal. And that is a front post double crochet. Now begins our pattern repeat. I'll write it above. We are going to double crochet into the next 2 stitches, then front post double crochet into the next. All right, so I'll work it with you. So 1 double crochet into the next 2 stitches. There's a double crochet, another into the next. Now, front post double crochet. Remember, yarn over, push that post forward, and complete your double crochet as normal. All right, let's keep that going one more time. So, double crochet into the next, wait, hold on. 1 double crochet into the next 2 stitches. Sorry, it's a tongue twister. So, double crochet into the next. And another double crochet into the next stitch. And front post double crochet into the next. Remember, push that stitch forward and complete your double crochet as normal. See, this is why I like to place the stitch pattern up above too, just in case I say things a little bit confusingly. All right, so now I want you to continue this pattern repeat above. So you're going to double crochet into the next 2 stitches, followed by a front post double crochet all the way across, and I'll work the very last stitch with you. We've almost made it to the end of row number 2, and I just completed a front post double crochet, and I have 1 stitch left. In this last stitch, I'm going to place a double crochet. Alright, so this is the end of the first row of your 2-row pattern repeat. Now we're about to do the second part of your 2-row pattern repeat, which is row number 3. We are going to chain 1, turn your work. We're going to double crochet in the first 2 stitches. So we're going to double crochet here and here. So double crochet into that first stitch. Double crochet into the next stitch. Now you see how these stitches kind of stick out? We are going to front post double crochet into these next 2 stitches. So like I said, you can tell because they stick out. So front post double crochet. You remember how to do that. Just push that stitch out. And front post double crochet into the next. Alright, these are part of your pattern repeat. Now, do you see the stitch that's kind of sitting backwards back here? We're just going to double crochet on top of that one. Just a normal double crochet. Alright, now, once again, start our pattern repeat. You see the 2 posts sticking out. We're going to front post double crochet into the next 2 stitches. 1, next stitch, front post double crochet again. 2, and that stitch that kind of sits backwards, we're just going to place a double crochet on it. And that is going to be our pattern repeat all the way across. You're going to front post double crochet into the next 2 stitches, followed by a double crochet. Like I said, you'll be able to see it very easily because these stitches stick out and that one pushes back. These 2 stick out, that pushes back. Alright, so pause your video here and I'll meet you at the end of this row. We've almost made it to the end of row number 3 and I have 2 stitches remaining. I did 2 front post double crochets here and I have the 1 stitch that pushes back, so I'm going to place a double crochet there. And I'm going to place a double crochet in the very last stitch. And that is the end of our 2-row pattern repeat. So you're just going to repeat rows 2 and 3 over and over again. So you're going to repeat these 2 rows for a baby blanket until it's around 30 inches. For a lap blanket until it reaches 48 inches, and for a throw blanket until it reaches 60 inches. And just a quick tip, it gets easy as you keep building up on your rows. As these stick out, you know these will always be front post, and as these sit back, you know those are always double crochets. And same on the back. When you flip, you can see how these stick out, you know those will always be front post. Alright, so I'll pause your video here, continue with those amount of rows, and then we'll work on the border. Now we're going to be working on our border. And a quick tip, if you want your single crochets to be facing the right side where your waffle stitches are, make sure you end on an odd row. Alright, so for your border, it is just a simple single crochet border. We're going to place 3 single crochets in each one of your corners, and we're going to evenly single crochet all the way around. Don't worry, I'll work it with you. So this will be the first corner. We're going to chain 1, 3 single crochets into the same stitch. 1, 2, and 3. Now we're going to place 1 single crochet in each stitch all the way across. So here's a stitch, 1 single crochet. Pause your video here and continue placing 1 single crochet stitches all the way across until you reach the next corner. But I'll work this next corner with you. So pause your video here and I'll meet you at the very next corner. We made it to the next corner and we're going to place 3 single crochets. 1, 2, 3. Now we're going to evenly place single crochets going down the side of your work. Let me help you space those out correctly. I like to do 3 single crochets per 2 rows. I know that sounds confusing, so I'm going to show you exactly what this means. So we're working on the side. Since this was a corner, there's 1, 2, 3. I'll count this single crochet as 1. You see this first hole right here? That'll be my second. 2, and there's a weird hole right next to it, and that'll be 3. That was 3 single crochets per 2 rows. I'll show you again. Can you see that big hole right here where I'm letting the light out? That'll be my first one. 1. I'll look for the next hole right here. 2. And the next obvious hole is 3. I just did 3 single crochets in 2 rows. I'll show you one more time. Just follow the holes. There's a hole right here. 1. The next hole. 2. And the next hole. 3. That is how you evenly single crochet down the side. So I want you to do that for the remainder of this whole square, and make sure you place 3 single crochets in your corner. So pause your video here and continue evenly single crocheting all the way around. We've made it to the end of the first round of our border, and now we're just going to slip stitch to join to finish off this round. Now for round number 2, we're going to chain 1 and single crochet into that very same stitch. Now we've made it to the corner. We know it's the corner because it's the middle stitch of those 3 single crochets in the corner. So because we single crocheted in the first one and we made it to the middle one, so we're going to place 3 single crochets into that next stitch. 1, 2, 3. We formed a new corner. Now we're just going to single crochet in each stitch all the way across until you make it to your next corner. And on the next corner, you're going to do the same. In that middle of your 3 single crochets, you're going to place 3 single crochets. So pause your video here. Continue with those stitches all the way around for the next 3 rounds. So round 2 through round 4. Pause your video here and I'll meet you at the completion of those rounds. We've completed those last additional rounds, and you're just going to slip stitch to join and fasten off your work because you're all done. If you enjoyed this tutorial, please make sure you check out my other tutorials, and I'll see you all on the very next video. Bye guys.